wins for their clubs nearly every time out. One at 6 feet 6 inches and the other just an inch taller, and they are very familiar with one another. Halladay and Johnson meet again tonight. There's some pretty good matchups of number ones all around baseball on this Wednesday, but nothing better than tonight here at Citizens Bank Park, where the Miami Marlins take on the Phillies in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Roy Halladay against Josh Johnson. Enough said. You don't really have to say anything else. We know we got some guys dealing tonight.
And the hitters, oh, man, the hands have to hurt tonight, Tom. These two guys, with the great stuff that they have, it shouldn't be a fun night to be a hitter in this ballgame. These two pitchers are just tremendous. Roy Halladay, who could forget this night? The perfect game in Miami a couple of years ago at the end of May. Here he goes into the 8th inning, and you're starting to think, well, this guy has something going here. And now when they finally got the final out of that inning with Cody Ross hit the fly ball right there, that ended it. Then we go to the 9th inning. And the long fly ball to deep center field. It's caught out there by Shane Victorino. And here comes Wes Helms. He takes a strike 3 call, and then can he do it? Ronnie Paulino, remember Juan Castro, spins, throws. Everybody goes nuts down there in the field. A perfect game by Roy Halladay on a hot night in South Florida. That was really an amazing thing to watch. And then Josh Johnson, he was hurt most of last year. He did get a start against the Phillies in the month of May. He pitched really well that night, and right after that he went on the disabled list. He was probably the best pitcher in the game in the month of April, and then he started to really have shoulder problems, and they finally had to shut him down for the rest of the year. These guys have matched up 4 times before. Look at Johnson's earned run average. Heck, in the perfect game, he gave up 1 unearned run in that. And Roy, he's under 2 in his games against the Florida Marlins, who are now, of course, the Miami Marlins, and see what they do against him now.
Well, Josh Johnson was asked about this matchup, and what he said, you know it's going to be electric here in Philadelphia, and it will be. It's Josh Johnson against Roy Halladay. It's game number 2 of this 3-game series between the Phillies and the Miami Marlins. And the Phillies looking to get their offense rolling. The Marlins, well, they've gotten offense throughout their lineup, including from Omar Infante. He has 3 homers already. Last year, he didn't hit his 3rd till August. The lineups in first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Anheuser-Busch. Smooth Busch beer and easy drink at Busch Light. By Toyota. When you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. By Citizens Bank. We're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. And by Xfinity, only from Comcast, the official HD triple play provider of the Phillies. Between Josh Johnson and Roy Halladay. Now, speaking of nifty matchups, we said there are a lot of number ones going today. How about earlier today when Steven Strasburg locked horns with Johan Santana? This game took forever. And Strasburg, for the first time in his career, threw more than 100 pitches. He had everything working, including that breaking pitch, to get Ike Davis. This was a run by the Nationals, and it turned out it was probably the only run they needed. Mark DeRosa scored on a wild pitch at the top of the second inning. Santana pitched well. He had 8 strikeouts at one point, but was thrown a boatload of pitches, and then a favorable strike zone for Steven Strasburg. And this happened a couple different times. The Nationals wound up winning it 4-0. Strasburg struck out 9 over 6 innings of work, and he and the bullpen allowed just 3 hits. You see the MLB news to talk about. David Wright, broken right pinky. He'll be out for a little while. Brandon Phillips agreed to a 6-year, $72.5 million contract, and the Arizona Diamondbacks, the only unbeaten team left, at a 4-0 record. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph?
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Yes, an update on 2 of the Phillies' own. Ruben Amaro Jr. before the game telling reporters that Chase Utley continues his work out there in Arizona, that he is making progress. That is certainly good news. Developing some strength in that left leg where he's having the knee problem. He'll continue to work out there in Arizona, and Ruben said he'll know more once the team gets out on the West Coast and he can talk to Chase face-to-face. What about Ryan Howard? The update on him? Well, he will see a wound specialist tomorrow, and after that, they'll have a better idea whether or not he can resume some more baseball activities. We've seen him taking some ground balls. He's been doing some cardio work as well. So tomorrow, he'll see the wound specialist, and then they'll know whether or not he can increase that workload. But the good news is he is also progressing, and Ruben made it very clear that the tendon itself, the repaired tendon, is doing very well, getting stronger and stronger. Now it's just a matter of getting that wound healed so that he can continue some baseball work. So good news for both guys as they continue to progress. Guys?
Yeah, Murph, Ruben also gave a very interesting description of the wound itself for Ryan Howard, said how big it is and how disgusting it kind of looked when he was taking a look at it.
Yeah, Ruben gave a very detailed explanation of just how deep the wound was,
right.
That you can almost stick your finger into the wound. That's how deep it was. So if you think about that, and he talked about the healing process, how it had to heal, obviously, from the inside out. So it's taken some time, and it's not 100% healed as of yet, which is why they're still taking some time with Ryan Howard. But you know, if you're going to look at it on the bright side of things, it's really allowed the tendon to have a little bit more time to heal itself. He hasn't been able to push himself, and in the long run, that might be good news. All
right, thank you, Murph. We appreciate that. Ryan was taking ground balls again earlier today during batting practice. The Phillies take the field behind Roy Halladay. Anytime he's out there, it is an electric kind of night here at Citizens Bank Park. And he'll face a Marlins team that he's very familiar with. Let's take a look at Joey Cora's starting lineup for tonight's ball game. We'll get into that in just a little bit. It's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off is Jose Reyes, the shortstop. Emilio Bonifacio, the center fielder, bats second. Then Hanley Ramirez, the third baseman. Giancarlo Stanton is in right field. He'll bat cleanup. Logan Morrison, the left fielder, hits fifth. Gabby Sanchez sixth, followed by Omar Infante and John Buck. And then Josh Johnson will bat ninth, and they will face Phillies right-hander Roy Halladay, who pitched an exceptional ball game in the opener against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
He gave up 2 hits, some to the first 2 batters in the ball game, and then got a double play ball, got out of that inning, and then was just dominated the rest of the way. So, you know, not many numbers to put up yet after just 1 start, but he went 8 innings, and then Papelbon finished it off in the only game they've won so far. Scouting report on him, everything moves, and one thing we can add tonight, it's heavy. And this is not a fun night to hit. We'll see what happens in the ball game. Sometimes you say that, and then there's hits all over the place. But Halladay, Johnson are not comfortable pitchers to hit off in these conditions.
Well, Josh Johnson's already finished up his warm-up tosses. He's in the dugout getting ready to go. Talking to some of his coaches, Joey Espada, the third base coach, and some of his teammates as well. He's coming back from shoulder inflammation, which sidelined him for just about all of last year. Jose Reyes is digging in for the Miami Marlins. Let's take a look at the Nissan keys to the game, Wheels.
And here they are on this middle game of the 3-game series between the Phillies and the Marlins, as Charlie Manuel and Juan Samuel talk it over. Well, 2 of the best match up again tonight, so that means it should be a really fun game. Weather with these pitchers, a low hit, low run game, and of course I put the question mark on there because when you say that, All of a sudden, there's hits flying all over the place.
Well, you saw Joey Cora, the manager of the Miami Marlins, the acting manager. Ozzie Guillen has been suspended for 5 games by the Marlins because of his comments about Fidel Castro in a Time magazine piece. Jose Reyes swings at the first pitch, and we're underway, and the count is no balls and 1 strike.
No surprise, both these pitchers tonight, Halladay and Johnson, their numbers show that a hitter's attack them early in the count, especially in the first inning.
First pitch of ball games for the career against Halladay. The opposition's hitting .340 against him, but right out of the chute, he's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes to Jose Reyes. Reyes is 12 for 29 against Halladay during his career. Now the 0-2 pitch. Rolled over on it toward first base. Clean play by John Mayberry, 1 away.
He threw him a changeup there, and it was a really good one. Ahead in the count, and obviously Reyes went up there and was very aggressive, and he showed it he was going to be aggressive. And there's that changeup. Look at that thing go down. As Tom said, he just rolled it over.
So 1 away. Here's Emilio Bonifacio, who's hit 9 of 10 against the Phillies dating back to last year. And he's off to a good start with a .421 average. He had 3 hits in the game 2 days ago. Did not have a particularly good spring training, hit .196. And he takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
Strange player. He's had several chances in the major leagues to make it with teams, and he's never been able to take over a position. But he's a really valuable player.
Well,
this guy could play, he can play shortstop and center field. Now, that's an amazing combination.
Play third base, too.
He could do that if he has to, but to play that shortstop and center field, you really have to be some kind of athlete.
Breaking ball in there for a strike. It's 1-2.
You wonder how pitchers, off-speed pitches, would be tonight. That's a really good curveball he just threw because the ball is really slippery for a pitcher. Another curveball.
Ground ball foul. That's Gary Thurman in the first base coach's box. So 1 ball and 2 strikes the count. Bonifacio will be followed by Hanley Ramirez. Little topper. This will still be a tough play. Bonifacio runs well. Halladay makes a good play to get to it, but then throws wide of the bag. And they'll score that a base hit.
I almost thought he was just going to let it go and see what happens because it's so hard to get him, especially at the point he was going to get to the baseball. And it had a chance to go foul. I don't know if it's going to go foul or not. See, it's a big high chopper. It's going to have a lot of spin when it hits. The way this guy can run would have been very unlikely if he could have thrown him out on a perfect play. But, you know, obviously Roy thought he could get him.
So 1 away, runner at first. You got to keep an eye on Bonifacio. He has stolen 4 bases already this year, has not been caught. In fact, Bonifacio and Reyes are 2 pretty good weapons at the top of the order for Ozzie Guillen's team. 6 stolen bases combined between the 2. Marlins, when they won the World Championship in 2003, had Juan Pierre and Luis Castillo at the top of their order, and those 2 guys were certainly base stealing threats. Off the outside corner. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Ramirez hitting .158 overall. Most of last year, I should say a good part of last year, not most of it, but a good part of last year with a bad shoulder. Just a nagging injury. Swing and a miss. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Halladay's cutter right now at 89 miles an hour. Ruiz is going to go out to the mound and chat with him real quick.
You know, it almost looked like it surprised him a little bit, like maybe Roy threw something he didn't think was going to go. At that point, maybe it was supposed to be a different pitch.
Well, the good news is he's always around the strike zone.
Because it's really hard to, you know, usually you don't cross a guy up when there's nobody at second.
Line drive, straightaway center field. Victorino with his back to the infield makes the play, going away. That's a fine catch by Shane Victorino for the second out.
Wind blowing really hard from left to right, cold here tonight. And as Tom said, that is a tremendous play by Victorino, and the wind knocked that ball down too. Then they got a warm night here. That's a lot of problems. Hanley Ramirez got the foot down in time, and he thinks he's got a big time extra base hit working here. And look at it just die out there near the warning track, a couple steps in front of the warning track, as Shane did a good job of taking it off to the side and seeing it the whole way and not losing it over his body.
It's a lot of what Charlie Manuel and Juan Samuel talked about during spring training is getting to the ball quicker as an outfielder. Not necessarily on a play like that, but on other plays to the gaps. But Victorino got to that quickly, and Giancarlo Stanton waves at the first pitch. There's Juan. He's the third base coach, of course, but also the Phillies outfield instructor.
One thing Sammy knew about the outfield was he hated it.
Playing it.
Oh.
Totally changed his career.
Totally changed his career. You know, it was a struggle for him. You know, he knows the fundamental of outfield play, and he really helps with it now. But at the time when he went out to play center field, he hadn't played it, and it was a struggle.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Stanton. A .235 hitter.
He can tell guys what they're doing wrong.
Broke his bat. Base hit to left field. The bat's out by Polanco. And the Marlins now have runners on first and second with 2 outs.
Cutter's up a little bit right now. Curveball looks really good. His changeup is good. Cutter seems a little bit flat on the plate.
During the 2012 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. That'll bring Logan Morrison to the plate. Morrison 2 for 9 so far on the year. He spent the off day yesterday working with Eduardo Perez about his batting on his batting stance. Perez is trying to take Morrison and stand him up a little bit more in his stance. And capitalize on his height, use it as leverage. There's Eduardo, who took over last year as the hitting coach of the Marlins. Sometimes an off day early on in the season is good, just to give a guy a day away from the ballpark, but it's also good to make some early adjustments.
And nobody was throwing him cutters like that yesterday.
No.
That was a really good one. That mentioned looked like he's been struggling a little bit with it. That one had some bite.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Morrison.
This kid potentially is a really good hitter.
Takes a strike, and it's 1-2. Logan Morrison just 1 hit against Halladay during his career, 1 for 11. And there's a lot that goes through a hitter's mind when they're facing a guy like Halladay.
Well, he's got so many ways to get you out when you have 2 strikes.
Crowd coming to life a little bit. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. In the dirt, nice play by Ruiz, 2-2.
Yeah, like that. I mean, he'd come at you with a curveball that he threw there, change up, you know, a sinker, cutter, and they're all out pitches.
Think about being in the same division, even if you're young like Morrison is. You know you're going to face Halladay more than 1 time during the course of the regular season.
Right, and you have a better chance maybe of catching up to him once in a while because you see him so much, as opposed to other teams who may, you know, see him twice a year.
There's lead off first and second. And the 2-2. Wrapped around the outside of the plate. 3 balls and 2 strikes, so the runners will be off.
Well, they're making him throw a lot of pitches.
Gabby Sanchez, the on-deck hitter. There go the runners. And ball 4. So the bases are now loaded here in the first.
He tried to get him to chase a curveball and strike him out there and didn't get it.
So a right-hander in Gabby Sanchez, who was 2 for 4 with a couple of RBIs in the opener of this series. Marlins won the home opener for the Phillies. They did so rather easily. Sanchez 7 for 24 against Halladay, and he takes low and away. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Overall, Sanchez hitting 188. And there's strike 1. Gabby Sanchez had an odd year last year. The All-Star break, he was hitting 293 with 13 home runs. He became an All-Star, the only representative for the Marlins. Then after the All-Star game, he hit just 225 with 6 homers. Chops that one to the right side. Galvis is there, and the inning is over. So Halladay works himself into a little bit of trouble here in the first, but then leaves them loaded. We go to the bottom of the first. It's the Marlins nothing, and the Phillies coming up. It's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off in left field, Juan Pierre. Then Placido Polanco and Jimmy Rollins. Hunter Pence is in right field. He'll bat cleanup. Shane Victorino bats 5th. John Mayberry hits 6th in the lineup tonight. Then Carlos Ruiz, Freddie Galvis, and Roy Halladay. Doc actually had a hit in the last game against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And they will face big right-hander Josh Johnson, all 6'7", 250 pounds of him, coming off a start where he gave up a few dinks and some dunks, but it was a career-high 10 hits.
Yeah, watch that game. That was the first game of the baseball season. The Cardinals came into their beautiful new ballpark down there and hit him around a little bit. Didn't have the same fastball that he's had before. Maybe that'll come back. He's down a couple miles per hour. Still threw his really good curveball. Had a lot of arm problems in 2011. And he started out great in the month of April, pitched well in May, and then his shoulder started to bother him. They had to shut him down.
Well, he'll face Juan Pierre, the former Marlin. 222 hitter, no homers and 2 runs batted in. The corners are in. Ramirez more so than Sanchez. And the first pitch a little low, 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, he'll bunt more towards third for a base hit than he does dragging it. So that's why you're going to cheat in more with that third baseman.
There he goes. He bunts up the third base line and trickles foul. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Francine Dronick. If the Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game, then Francine will win $200. May not come in this at bat with Juan Pierre, not necessarily a home run hitter. Well, he's not a home run hitter at all. He only had 2 last year.
Right. Home run's a surprise when he hits one.
Slaps it foul. Pierre played 3 years with the Marlins, won a world championship. A .303 hitter during those 3 years. He also played the last 2 years with the White Sox with Ozzie Guillen, and Ozzie has been quoted in saying that he wished he had 25 guys like Juan Pierre because of his work ethic. He grounds out to first, so 1 away here in the bottom of the first.
Seems like every manager, every team he's ever been on, every teammate says the same things about him all the time, that he's the ultimate professional and really knows how to play the game. Just talking to Nomar Garcia prior tonight, he's here, and he was a teammate of Juan Pierre's in Los Angeles. So one of the best teammates he ever had, and as smart a player as he ever been around.
Well, Joe Torre, who managed him in Los Angeles, you know, they were going through a lot out there where they had Andre Ethier, Matt Kemp, and then Manny Ramirez. So Pierre wound up being the odd man out, although he was signed to a contract that was difficult for the Dodgers to trade him with, and they weren't sure if Manny Ramirez would have any issues or not. He did, and Juan Pierre wound up sliding in there. Polanco pokes it toward right, playable for Stanton, and there are 2 outs. So 2 quick outs for Josh Johnson.
Yeah, Halladay threw somewhere around 21 pitches, I think, in the first inning, and right now 2 outs on 7. And this is one of the problems, not only offensively they're having early in the year, but they make a lot of quick outs. They're not a high on base percentage team right now. They don't work the count, and as a result, the innings are fast.
Well, here's Jimmy Rollins, who had a good home opener with 2 hits. 2 for 4, and he takes on the outside corner.
You really want to make a guy like Johnson work, because you figure, you know, they're going to be very careful with him, especially on a cold night like this, on how many pitches he throws.
On the hands, that'll be a 1-hopper to Infante. Jimmy may have broken his bat. That's a 9-pitch inning for Josh Johnson. He gets the side in order. So the Phillies go down 1-2-3. We're through 1. We go on to the second. Marlins nothing and the Phillies nothing. Finished up his warm-up tosses as we go to the top of the second here at Citizens Bank Park. He had the bases loaded in the first, worked out of that. David Montgomery, the president of the Phillies, joins us here in the second inning. David, welcome.
Well, thank you, Tom. Good to be with you.
First chance
you
to
too,
chat.
Wheels.
Yeah, thank you, David. I appreciate that.
Wheels is all bundled up tonight, David. He's got a scarf going and everything.
You would think it would be chilly out there.
I don't know.
These bright lights here, for crying out loud, that should warm you
We got
up.
him these fleeces to give himself nice and warm.
It's not my first rodeo.
Right. That's quite a scarf he has on.
Thank you.
Very
you know, I picked it out myself. Yeah, right.
Omar Infante will lead it off, and he takes outside. It's 1-0. Well, David, started the year. I mean, there's always a lot of excitement and energy. I mean, there always is here at the ballpark anyway. But how much are you looking forward to getting this season underway?
Well, I think every spring training follows the same pattern. You're so excited to get down there. You're anxious to see particularly the new faces and all that, and then you get into the second and third week of games, and all of a sudden you just want to stay healthy and get north and get started. And we probably had envisioned starting a little bit differently than this one's begun, but you know, there's still a good bit of baseball left, as they say.
Well, somebody mentioned a couple of days ago that the Phillies started 1-4 a few years ago. They wound up winning 93 games. Now that would be pretty nice to be able to do something like that, or a little bit more.
Well, obviously, you know, we had the all-time year last year as far as regular season was concerned, and you know, we've been fortunate enough to be in postseason play a good bit lately, and we've set the bar high, and that's good. That's a good thing. That the expectations are such that we'll continue to hang in there.
Omar Infante sends one to deep left field. That's off the top of the wall. Pierre plays it well. Infante runs well, and that's a leadoff double.
Omar Infante's having quite a start here.
It sure is.
Check his bats.
Wow.
That's 6 extra base hits in the first week of the season.
Yeah, the other day he hit a couple into the first row out there. This one looked like it had a chance too, but it duck hooked a little bit at the end, thankfully, right off the Xfinity sign. And back to Juan Pierre, bottom of the order here now, so then keep him out there at second.
So a runner in scoring position. John Buck is the hitter. He was 0 for 4 in the opener. David, we talked last year about the Phillies starting with Chase on the DL. Ryan's on the DL too. So you try to, you know, we've had seasons where injuries have affected the team, and you just try to play as well as you can until you get support coming back.
Well, no question, Tom. I mean, the season is such that you certainly cannot expect to go through a year without having some injuries that impact your ball club. You hope that you don't cluster them. And unfortunately for us, you know, the 3 and 4 hole is a little bit of a cluster right out of the chute. But you know, let's hope we can get through this period and move on from there.
Hunter Pence didn't see that ball right away, but he makes the play, and Infante moves over to third. So 1 out.
Hey, David, you had the Winter Classic here this year. Kind of a different thing. It's late, obviously late in the year, and you knew, you know, the field might get torn up a little bit. Now, how's everything turned out? Because it just looks so beautiful.
No question. I give actually Mike Buchholder a lot of credit. He came to us and said, you know, the biggest concern he had is not the aesthetics, because thank goodness it always looks, you know, for me a ballpark, green grass always is a special sight. But you know, he said that his concern was that we'd always use Kentucky bluegrass, and that if we did that, we had to run the risk that by putting that field down in January or maybe even as late as February, the middle thereof, if the weather didn't cooperate, it may affect the ability to develop a strong root system. And so he made a recommendation, and it's turned out to be a good one thus far. And the reality is that I give him a lot of credit, because we had been complimented on fields for quite some time.
The Marlins will score a run on that ground out by Josh Johnson as Infante scores, so it's 1-0, and it looks gorgeous. I mean, the Bermuda grass looks absolutely fantastic.
No, I agree with you.
Was it nice you had 10 days of 80-degree weather too? Did that help?
Well, yeah, that's I'm going to let Josh Johnson ground out there before I finish my thought, but the reality is that we did catch quite a break weather-wise, because we were able to put this down, I think probably by the 10th of January, and because of the unusual warm climate that we had here in the Northeast, the reality is the field started to take early on, and he feels very good about the root system at this point.
Here's Jose Reyes, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Reyes. Well, watching some of the Winter Classic, I mean, the place looked great. I mean, it always looks great, but it looked, in that different sort of setup, it looked unbelievable.
Yeah, there's no question. I mean, this is a ballpark, but at least for 3 rather significant events, because we had great crowds not only for the Classic itself and the alumni game, but a nice crowd that following Friday for the Phantoms game. It was fun. I think it invigorated all of us, and gave us a different perspective of the facility.
Jose Reyes flies out to center field. Halladay gives up a run. David Montgomery will continue with us in the bottom of the second. Marlins on top 1-0. 27th, the Phillies and the Chicago Cubs will start a 4-game series here at the ballpark. Sunday the 29th is the Fanatic's birthday, and it's brought to you by Citizens Bank and a free Fanatic Bank for fans 14 and under. Monday is a Hatfield Dollar Dog Night. You can get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Well, the Phillies 206 consecutive regular season sellouts after last year's attendance of 3.6 million plus. This is game number 2 of the regular season. Another sellout tonight. Josh Johnson and the Marlins on top 1-0. Hunter Pence will lead it off, and it's 1 ball and no strikes to Hunter Pence. David Montgomery, the Phillies president, joining us up here in the booth. That ball is rocketed right through the middle. Well, Pence has hit the ball hard so far this year. David, we just showed that graphic about attendance, and every year it's remarkable more and more how it keeps cycling itself into one.
The fan support has been just extraordinary, and it manifests itself in so many different ways. I mean, obviously the sellouts speak for the home attendance, but the reality is, I mean, you saw it this past weekend out in Pittsburgh, the number of people that go to our road games, our attendance at our minor league franchises, particularly the local ones, Lehigh Valley, Reading, and Lakewood. Lehigh Valley led all of minor league baseball in attendance last year. And then how about spring training? I mean, the number of people that now are coming down to spring training. I mean, we've been so blessed with such phenomenal fan support. It's incredible.
The play on the field dictates a lot of it too, but also everything that everybody does in the front office to try to promote what's going on in the field helps too.
Well, we refer to ourselves every once in a while, the suits should get a little credit for it, but the reality is that I think our fans have identified so well with this club, not only as talented ball players, but they've grown to like these guys as people. I mean, here's a perfect example here. With Shane's demeanor, and then what he did with Nicetown Boys and Girls Club, etc. I mean, that's just a wonderful statement. And he's shown our fans just how much he wants to be a part of Philadelphia.
And also, as the years have gone on, I mean, there have been different faces coming through. Even since the Phillies won the World Championship, the fans have been able to attach themselves to even the new players, like a Hunter Pence coming in.
Well, no question. I mean, I've always been. I grew up with Philadelphia fans. I've always been proud of our fans' abilities to sort of get it and know. They recognize effort, and Hunter clearly is the epitome of that. They are very savvy. They know when to support somebody when somebody's made a great defensive play and things like that. They appreciate the game. They know the game and appreciate it.
Well, tonight is McDonald's opening night here at the ballpark. All fans receiving the T-shirts when they came through the gates. The count is 2-1 to Victorino. And Shane chops it over the head of Johnson. That's hard to do. The ball rolls. Ooh, they're going to say that Hunter Pence was.
He's going to allow the fielder to get to the baseball.
And Infante, I think, waited and waited and waited. Here comes Charlie Manuel. I think that Omar sensed where Pence was, although he had an out no matter what he did. But he looked like he slowed down and waited for Pence to get into the base pad.
Well, he paid a price for it if he did.
He did.
That's a big guy to run over you. See, you can see anything in the replay.
See right? Yeah, see right there is where the interference occurred. Now Pence thought there might have been obstruction. But as Will said, the runner has to allow the fielder to make a play.
Yeah, you technically have to avoid him.
Yeah.
But, man, he doesn't. I don't know. They have to decide whether or not that he's about ready to catch the baseball, that he can't change, his direction there, and that the runner has to get away from him.
It looked like in that last shot that Hunter decided to go around him to the right. Then because Infante stopped there, he really all of a sudden didn't have the ability to get around.
Yeah, it all happened so fast.
Well, again, if the runner is involved, it's interference. If the fielder's involved, where he impedes the runner, it's obstruction. And in this case, the umpire, it was Bill Welke, called interference. So Victorino is aboard. Pence is retired, 4 unassisted. And now John Mayberry's the hitter with 1 out.
interference and obstruction was something that was drummed into me, my generation, David's generation. We're together in that by a guy named Alan Lewis.
Isn't that the truth?
And he was adamant about understanding the difference between interference. I can't tell you how many times I got lectured on it. But that man knew the rules, Tom.
He was a real student of the game.
He wrote rules for Major League Baseball.
I write it down in my scorebook because sometimes it gets confusing.
Well, we've talked about it a couple of times, and I told you he was the guy that helped us understand the difference in it. He could really help you with baseball, that man.
And so Pence is retired.
Allen was a longtime writer for the Philadelphia Inquirer.
Mayberry takes low. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
Let's see if Shane could try and steal it back. Now, obviously, Johnson's been aware of that and moving over there, but he's a little bit slow to the plate. He can't help it. He's so big, and he's such a power pitcher.
Shane has stolen 2 bases so far. Lupa toward left. That's going to drop in for a base hit. So the Phillies have first and second with 1 out here in the second. Mayberry's second hit of the series. Carlos Ruiz is the hitter. David, on Monday before the ball game, there was a moment of silence for both Andy Musser and Jerry Clover.
Well, I mean, there's not much more that I can say than what was said that day. That they were special people to be around, and boy, did they care about our ball club in every way, shape, and form. I mean, I said to Andy's family at his service that we were so proud of the relationship we were able to maintain with him for the 9+ years since he had left the booth here. He remained a good friend of the club, and in Jerry's case, I had literally the privilege of working with a man almost side by side for 31 years. So pretty special.
Just 2 great individuals.
I used to not make fun, but get on Andy Musser because he'd sit up here with gloves and a scarf and a hat. Well, he taught me a lot over the years. Right. And this is one of them. Wear the scarf.
I was going to ask you how many of those T-shirts we gave away. We'd need to keep you warm.
1 ball, 1 strike to capture Ruiz.
Andy Musser was a very special guy in this booth for us for a long time. Learned a lot about life from Andy Musser. He was a very solid person. And Jerry Clothier was salt of the earth.
You know, the one common theme for each of them was how much they like to mentor people.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, really.
Right.
Andy was so proud of the careers, including yours, that he was able to be instrumental in. And boy, Jerry felt the same way. Jerry enjoyed getting to know the young people that worked here and spend some time with them and see if he couldn't aid them in their career development.
Well, both those guys are sorely missed. It was a nice moment the other day before opening day. Ruiz pops it up. Infield fly rule will be called. Infante, the second baseman, makes the catch. And there are 2 outs here in the second. And Josh Johnson will face Freddie Galvis. David, when you see a guy like Freddie Galvis come up from the organization, and I know there's some great stars that come in from outside the organization, but does it give you a sense of fulfillment when you see somebody make it to the major leagues that's come through the system?
No question, Tom. I think so much of our success has been the fact that the scouting and player development that we've done through the years, and it's great to see that knock for Freddie to get him started. But when you think about what we asked this young man to do, to switch positions really right at the start of spring training, pretty amazing. And obviously, it's been documented that was his first big league hit. But the reality is that he's played 4 pretty stellar defensive games at second place. I'll tell you, had some unusual plays right out of the chute, as always happens. It's amazing how that ball finds you, particularly when you want to take a breath or two.
And you talk about changing positions. There are a few harder things to do in this game to go from shortstop to second base, from where you see everything as a shortstop to where everything's blind.
Yeah, it's one thing to go across the bag and see where that runner is coming at you. It's another when you're back to the play and
big time.
what do I do? Do I cross the bag? How do I get there?
Victorino goes.
Wow.
He's safe at third.
Well, John Buck almost made a big mistake there. There's no way he should even throw that ball. You know, it doesn't mean that much to steal third with 2 outs. You may as well just let him go, and he's that far down the line. That's a heck of a play by Hanley Ramirez. Ooh, that's athletic.
Yeah, that was sailing like a screwball to Ramirez.
Particularly with Shane coming in underneath you.
Really
Wow.
tough play.
Well, third stolen base for Victorino. Mayberry still at first. The count 1-2 to Freddie Galvis. Little topper foul hit Freddie in the box, so he'll remain alive. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
You guys are talking about a young player. Every game he plays, he's facing a guy for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard. It's hard enough up here to be a veteran player and have a book on a guy, but everybody now, of course, Johnson's facing him for the first time too, but pitcher has to have the advantage, I think, first time, a few times around.
No question about that, Wilson. But the willingness of Freddie to obviously it created an opportunity for him, but at the same time, the willingness to switch positions is really something very much appreciated, and you know, he just jumped at the opportunity and obviously has made the most of it.
You know, we got a little feel for him, David, when Tom and I had him up here last year. He won the Paul Owens Award.
Right.
And he sat here right where you are, and he was terrific.
Yeah, he was.
He was very conversant, and he was sharp, and you just had a feeling that this kid has a future.
Told me today he was breathing a sigh of relief when he had that 2-run double the other day.
How about Charlie letting him hit there?
Yeah. Well, and he acknowledged that he was appreciative of the opportunity.
I mean, that's one of the strengths of Charlie. I mean, you know, the long-term gain of showing the confidence in the player as opposed to making another move there. I mean, Charlie is very much supportive of the entire club, and he knew that was the time to be supportive of Freddie.
Ground ball to second, and Fonte stays down on it. So the Phillies threaten, do not score. They leave a couple. David, we appreciate it as always, and we'll look forward to talking to you again down the road.
My pleasure, man. Let's get a few runs here tonight, all right? Let's go.
David Montgomery, the president of the Phillies, joining us up here in the booth. Phillies are retired here in the second. We go to the third at Citizens Bank Park. Time now for the Dodge Stump the Fans trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fans section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. Wills, here's the question. Name the player besides Babe Ruth and Barry Bonds with 600 or more home runs and an on-base percentage of 400 or higher. Huh. The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. Emilio Bonifacio leads it off, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Bonifacio. We'll see you win, huh?
Well, aren't that many guys hit 600 home runs?
No,
so,
8. Looper to right center field. It's going to be a tough play. Here comes Victorino. Makes the running grab. He's all over the outfield tonight.
That's a good play by Shane. Now, when a guy like Bonifacio hits the ball, you won't break back like you will when a big guy swings, because you figure he's not going to hit over your head. Now, you see he's playing him in left center field, but he has a long way to come. But he broke in immediately and then outran the baseball, which is a good play by Shane. If he flinches or breaks back a little bit, but when Bonifacio takes that swing, I think as an outfielder, you don't think about it over your head.
I think it's hard, though, to change.
Sure it is, but you got to know who the hitter is.
Here's Hanley Ramirez. He lined out to center. Victorino made a fine play on that one.
Now, he can hit it over your head.
Right, you may break back.
When he takes a big swing, you're going to have a tendency to break back.
Ramirez 1 for 5 so far in the series. There's a strike. 1-1. Folks are still settling in here at the ballpark. A lot going on around Philadelphia tonight. Well, with Philadelphia teams, not necessarily going on in Philadelphia. Flyers are playing the Penguins.
Back in that town where we just were hanging around for 5 days.
Sixers are playing the Raptors. Little number foul.
You know, something happened in the game while David was in here, and you know, we really didn't get a chance to talk about it. That was playing the infield back with Johnson batting in the second inning. You know, that's one of those things. Do you do it or you don't do it? Charlie hates to play the infield in early. With this pitching matchup, thought, well, maybe they would play it in just in case he hit a dribbler. The ball that he hit, I don't know. Galvis probably would have gotten to it. But then you have the chance of you play the infield in and he hits a little dribbler, gets through, runs in, and then you're at the top of the order with the potential for a bigger inning. That's a tough call to make in the second inning of a game. And when you're not scoring much, I'll guarantee you they talked about it down there.
Yeah, this is game number 6 for the Marlins. They've scored 21 runs. As Ramirez pops it foul. For the Phillies, it's game number 5. And they've averaged 2 runs per game. So neither team is really scoring a whole lot of runs.
Right. And with this matchup tonight, you know how important a run can be. So that was, you know, that was one of those. You don't usually see strategic decisions in the second inning that you talk about.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Ramirez asks for time. Boy, Halladay really wants to get going, and Ramirez is taking a sweet old time getting back in the box. This will be the 9th pitch of this at bat. It's low, 3-2.
Yeah, Halladay's coming up on 50 pitches already, and he only has 1 out in the 3rd inning. And you have to give the Marlins credit; they're really working it.
Swing and a miss. He got him with a changeup. That's the first strikeout of the night for Halladay. Number 1,940 for his career. And there are 2 outs.
I don't think he expected a changeup 3-2. That's an understatement. And a really good pitch by Roy. See, Ramirez is getting that front foot down. His balance looks pretty good, but that pitch, you know, it's 10 miles per hour slower than what he thought he was going to get.
He delivers a fastball low to Giancarlo Stanton, who singled his first time up. Stanton missed the home opener for the Phillies against the Marlins the other day. He's been battling some left knee issues, but apparently what was bothering him the other day was in a different spot than the knee pain he had during spring training. It's a young dude to have all the knee problems that he's had lately.
A lot of talent. He's getting quite a bit of off-speed stuff from Halladay. These guys are stepping out, taking their time, like you pointed out, with Ramirez, because Halladay likes to work so fast.
Here's the 1-2. In the dirt, 2-2.
That doesn't help your feet. Boy, that's got to hurt on a night like this.
Night like this, where the temperatures are cool, the wind gusts, they say, could be up to 40 miles an hour again, or 30 miles an hour again.
Well, they sure are right. Looks like right now. That wind is blowing a ton from left to right.
Again, the 2-2 pitch. Line drive, another base hit for Stanton. It was just a curveball that was up where he could get to it. And he's got 2 hits tonight.
Well, that's some serious plate coverage right there.
Well, tomorrow morning, why not try something more fun? Get weather, traffic, trends, and headlines and a different kind of morning news. Eye Opener is a perfect mix of info and entertainment to get you going. Weekday mornings from 6 until 8 right here on PHL 17. 2 outs, a runner at first here at the top of the 3rd. Logan Morrison, the batter. You know, it's earlier today when the Nationals and the Mets got together. It was Strasburg against Santana. We talked about that before. Well, both those guys are throwing a lot of pitches, too.
Yeah. Well, it's a little hard to feel the baseball this time of year. I mentioned that earlier. But the flip side of that is hitters don't particularly like hitting on nights like this, especially when you have the heavy stuff that see Jimmy was trying to keep the hand warm, the fans trying to stay warm. You have the heavy stuff that Halladay possesses, and Johnson.
Ground ball to first, foul ball, and it's 1-2. Morrison walked his first time up. Stanton goes back to the bag. Ground ball right side. Boy, Galvis was playing him perfectly. That may have been a tougher play if he was in his normal spot, but he makes an easy play, and the Marlins leave one over at first. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. On to the bottom of the 3rd. The Marlins on top, 1-0. brought to you by Toyota. When you choose Toyota, you get a lot for less. Toyota. By Anheuser-Busch. Smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. And by McDonald's. Get a large sweet tea for $1. Another nice crowd here at the ballpark at a cool April night. Phillies down 1-0 as we hit the bottom of the third. Uncle Sam is here, Wheels. So is the Easter Bunny. All of your favorite characters from your childhood. Santa Claus. Roy Halladay leads it off.
It's getting near tax time, so that's why Uncle Sam's making an appearance, just to remind everybody.
Got an extra day or two there.
Yep, got to the 17th.
Yeah.
Instead of the dreaded 15th.
1-1 to count to Halladay. Halladay, 333 hitter this year. Chops it softly to the right side. It's a race between Johnson and Halladay. And Johnson wins the race. Follow the Phillies at the MLB.com @BAT12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Phillies.com for details. Well, we have said this since the first game of the year. Phillies are trying to get something rolling offensively, and they'll go back to the top of the order for Juan Pierre.
Johnson, watching him the other night against the Cardinals on a real warm night, and even here tonight, he doesn't have the same zip on his fastball. It could come. Still an outstanding pitcher with the other pitches that he has, and he has more than enough fastball to compete. But when a guy has a shoulder problem, sometimes they're better off with elbow problems.
2-0 the count to Pierre, and it's 2-1 as that pitch is over.
They seem like they fix that elbow with those Tommy John surgeries, but shoulders are much different.
He said his numbers were good too when he went down with the injury last year.
He was Josh Johnson.
Now it's 2-2.
He can be, overpowering, but he looks like he's spotting his fastball. He's using a changeup and breaking ball, and it could come with arm strength. By the middle of the season, he may be back where he was.
Pierre lines it to right field. That's a base hit. Stanton gets to it quickly. Pierre around first. He'll hold up there.
You better.
So a 1-out single. The Phillies have a hitter aboard.
But Juan Pierre, the really good, smart player that he is, he took a very aggressive turn around first and made Stanton throw that. Then you never know what could happen.
Well, Wheels, that hat didn't come flying off for Juan Pierre, and you asked last week, why does he wear that cap underneath his helmet? Well, Murph has the answer.
Well, yeah, you know what, guys? It's a different kind of look in the major leagues. You don't often see a player wear his baseball cap underneath his helmet. So we asked Juan Pierre about that, and he said, it's something I've always done, even back in Little League. He has such a small head. He said he's 6 5/8 hat size, which is pretty small, and he's never been able to really find a helmet that fits. So he got comfortable wearing that hat underneath his batting helmet, and he's brought it to the major leagues. Seems to be working for him, guys.
Seems to be working for him. And Murph, just to put a topper on that story, Placido Polanco was standing next to you and I when he was having that conversation. And Polanco looked over and said, I don't have that problem.
Never had that problem.
Not so much, no.
Polanco's now the hitter, and he takes inside. It's 1 and no strikes.
No, Polly's not going to wear a cap underneath that.
It was really funny.
That is funny.
Because Polanco was behind us when we were having the conversation. He kind of just peeked in at the last minute and said, small hat? Yeah, I don't have that problem. Pierre leads off first. Well, he saw something. He was headed back even before Johnson turned to throw open.
And Johnson's doing what he has to do, and that's trying to keep him close. Pierre used to be automatic when he wore that Marlins uniform, especially. Now he can still steal bags, but, he's just not the same guy.
Well, 2 years ago, he stole 68 bases in the American League. And there he goes. Pitch is taken high. Bucks throw. And he got it in there. Got his hand in there. And Jose Reyes is saying, no way.
Well, that beat him. The throw beat him, that's for sure. He must have slid at the back of the bag, and Reyes may have taken it up front a little bit. Buck makes a nice, strong throw here.
Right?
He's
there. Yeah, he may have. I don't know where his fingertips are. No, I think you're right.
Yeah. You know,
but he's safe.
Yeah, but he's safe. And Reyes did exactly what he's supposed to do. He straddled the bag real nice.
So the Phillies have a runner in scoring position for the second consecutive inning. It's 2-0 to Polanco.
So, of course, the manager, of course, with Ozzie in suspension, he came out of the dugout, took a step, and then came back.
Yeah, there it looks like the glove hits the arm before the hand hits the bag.
Yeah, that other angle, it really appeared that he got him before he got to the bag.
Oh, here you go, Wills. Now you'll be able to see it. There's the hand. There's the glove. He was out.
He's out.
But he's safe.
But he's safe. That's all that matters. So take advantage of it.
Pickoff play on. Pierre gets back.
Now, if we'd had a blimp, we'd have another angle. That would be about it. That was a great job, wasn't it?
I have to tell you, there was a blimp by my house today. And the kids were marveling as to why the big old white blimp was floating around our house.
And what was it doing up there in that wind?
Idea.
Imagine being in a blimp in that wind.
I don't know.
Ooh. You'd have a sporting event going on around your house.
Did not. May have been a lacrosse game somewhere or a soccer game. I don't know. I had just left a baseball game, but I didn't see the blimp then. And then, of course, the assortment of folks in my car, the kids from the game in my car, were explaining how one of their teammates had Googled what it would be to rent a blimp, and it would cost $100,000 to rent a blimp, Wills.
What, I'm going to try and talk Dad into that?
I don't know. Not this Dad.
No.
Back toward the middle. Off the glove of Johnson. It's going to shoot toward shallow left field. Pierre hesitates. Now he's coming home. Here's the throw. Safe at the plates. And the Phillies have tied the game up at 1.
Hey, take it any way you can get it. You get a call at second. Then you get a deflection that finds a hole. And even though Pierre held up a little bit, as you said, Tom, he still has enough burst to score that off-balance throw by Hanley Ramirez. Here it is. Polanco hits this pretty hard, and it goes where off? Right off his foot. And look at that, into a perfect spot, no man's land. Reyes takes a peek. He can't get anything on the throw. Pierre scores a run. And so they kind of think, now he took a look around him, which he shouldn't have done.
Yeah, because Juan was waving him home.
And he's an experienced player, and he knows there's no reason for him to turn around and look. In that situation, you look at your third base coach all the way.
Polanco went to second when Reyes' throw came to the plate. So the Phillies again have a runner in scoring position in a 1-1 ball game.
Yeah, so that'll be hitting an RBI and second on the throw.
First RBI of the year for Polanco. First run scored of the year for Pierre. Outside corner, 0-2.
They're really pitching Jimmy Rollins in the outfield. They're playing him to pull a little bit with Bonifacio, but they're taking the alleys away and giving them the lines, as you see there.
With a great arm in right, not so much in left and center. So 0-2, Rollins calls time. By the way, I said Samuel was waving him all the way. We saw it in the shot. He may not have been.
Right. But that's what Pierre's supposed to do, is come into third hard and look for Juan Samuel to see if he's waving him all the way, or if he has the hands up to tell him stay right here.
Jimmy looking for his first RBI of the year. Nice time to pick it up.
Well, you hit the 3-hole, you're going to have opportunities normally.
Line drive, base hit. It's a left center field, and the Phillies will take the lead. Morrison slips down. Rollins going to try for second. Here's the throw. Not in time. 2-1 Phillies. Well, the Phillies have been running the bases very well in this inning.
Yeah, and Jimmy hard out of the box. Big turn at first, and as soon as he saw Morrison, the ball get away from him, he advanced to second base. Hustle out of the box, good things can happen. Here's Morrison, as Tom said, looks like his feet went out from under him. Falls down, and Rollins coming hard out of the box, makes it to second base. There it is, now watch, right here. See, he's running hard. And right at that point, he started to shut it down a little bit coming around the bag, but he saw it get away. And the fact that he was watching the play and had all that momentum, he could get into second base.
All right, so it's a base hit, an error charged to Morrison. So it's a single for Rollins. He does get the RBI. And he's in scoring position for Pence. It's 2-1 Phillies. And Pence takes low. Buck blocks it. And it's 1-0. Hunter singled his first time up.
Well, that's so important when Rollins does there. Take advantage of that, because not only are you in scoring position, but you take away the double play potential. And Pence, the guy is going to hit in double plays because he hits a ground ball so hard.
First error of the year for Morrison.
They put a pickoff play on with Pierre at second in a base stealing situation. They're trying to. Boy, Johnson went quickly that time. You know, what a guy at second tries to do is figure out if he's in the same pattern and maybe try and steal third. Now that time, see, he stopped, took a look. But he has his attention, and now he's falling behind Pence. And that's what the threat of Jimmy Rollins running at second base can do to a pitcher, is distract him a little bit.
And this isn't a workaround at first base.
No way. I don't think so. I agree.
I don't think so either. 3-0 the count to Pence. Green light?
Sure.
He did have the green. Violent swing.
Well, one thing about it, if Charlie gives him the green light, he knows he's not going to get cheated. Look, he's laughing about it. See, I gave it to him, puffs those cheeks out, and he had a pitch to hit. Oh, wow.
That speed.
Oh, just missed it. That was a good 3-0 swing.
Yeah. This is the 22nd pitch of the inning for Johnson. And a line drive through the hole, a base hit. It's a left field. Rollins being way tall. Morrison's throw to the plate. Offline. Rollins with a head first slide. 3-1 Phillies.
That was a great job coaching by Juan Samuel and the outfielder's ability there. And Morrison's been banged up a little bit, and he overthrows a cutoff man by a lot, and it allows another runner to move into second base. So their base running, as you said, Tom, has been good in this inning. But give Sammy some credit there at third base for recognizing the outfielder he had. It's a breaking ball, and he hits it hard. You don't run on everybody in this situation because it was hit so hard. But he had a good runner who got a good jump off second. Ooh, Jimmy almost
he slipped a little bit, yeah.
He almost started to swim a little bit there.
Randy St. Clair out to the mound to talk to Josh Johnson.
But Hunter Pence sees that throw. He's an outfielder, so he knows. You see that throw being airmailed like that, you can move into second base with no problem.
Well, the Phillies again can cash it in. They've taken advantage of a miscue by Morrison in this inning. They've had a little luck on Juan Pierre's stolen base and the ball hit by Polanco, but they have cashed in for 3 runs. And now Victorino on the hands toward right center field. Stanton coming on. He can't get it. He made the dive. Pence will go to third. He had to hold up. And it's first and third with 1 out.
They're not playing real well now either. The Marlins. The Phillies are trying to take advantage of it. Stanton's got to catch that ball, but the wind took it, kind of made it like a parachute going out there. It looked like it was going to go a lot further. Boom, came straight down. Probably have to give him a hit on this, don't you? Let's see.
They have to give him a hit, yeah.
Does it touch his glove?
It does, but he kind of left his feet.
Yeah. But I think the wind really fooled him on that. Pence has to go back because it looks like he's going to catch it. And then he does a smart thing. Just go into third and look at your third base coach. Stop.
Well, now John Mayberry, they just gave him an E9.
Yeah, you know, once you see it hit his glove like that,
yeah.
and that high up off the ground, you almost had to, I think.
Runners on first and third. Mayberry, good swing. And a foul ball. It's 0-1.
Here's another run out there. A gift run that you got to get it.
Mayberry did single his last time up. He's 2 for 4 in the series. Rollins talking to Freddie Galvis.
Time to run. Thinking we might get something off speed there. Stay out of the double plane to get another run out of it. Nice is to look up there and see that crooked number.
It's great. And they're also making this guy work. We talked about Halladay's pitch count through 3. Well, Johnson now at 53 pitches and 25 this inning.
Right, because he was breezing after the first 2.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Mayberry. Ground ball toward third, a foul ball. Pence back to third. Victorino back to first.
Another time where you might think about running if you're Shane Victorino, thinking that Johnson could go after him with a breaking ball right now. So even if he strikes out, you're going to steal second. In his scoring position.
Joey Cora throwing down the signs for John Buck.
Yeah, that's what they want to do if the runner goes, if they're going to throw through too. And then also it's all more than anything, it's put to the pitcher on what they're going to do is throw over, not throw over, step off. Yeah, he must control the running game too. So now he's a manager, he can do both.
Victorino goes. Well, he got a good jump. No shot. Even if Bucket picked it up cleanly.
You have to think when you're out there that what's his strikeout pitch? It's a breaking ball. And where is it? It's in the dirt normally. And if he throws one of those, the catcher can't throw me out. And that's part of base stealing, is anticipating what the guy's going to throw. Not only just his move, but what the count is, what the situation is. Good job.
They play the infield back. 2 balls and 2 strikes with 1 out. Runners on second and third.
Right now, ground ball gets you a run. You stay out of the double play.
Looper towards second. Infante is there.
Oh.
He jammed it.
I guess.
And 1 out or 2 outs for Ruiz. Carlos popped out his first time up. He had 3 hits on opening day, just 1 since that game. Oh, heck, it's only been a couple of games.
Big hit here if he could get one. You could throw a 5 spot up off this guy.
This sounds strange. Is there any working around Ruiz with Galvis on deck?
Oh,
First base open.
Be surprised if they throw him a strike.
They're going to walk him intentionally.
Yeah. They decided, to just put him on. They try to make him go fishing on the first pitch. The Phillies bat around here in this inning.
Well, Jimmy Rollins was trying to inspire Freddie Galvis a few pitches ago, or a few batters ago. Just trying to keep his Venezuelan blood warm.
That's nice to see.
They are very supportive of that kid.
Well, they appreciate the way he plays the game.
Phillies have scored 3 runs so far. They batted around. First time this year. They had 4 hits in a row. And then a ball hit by Victorino that they scored an error where Stanton left his feet. And ball 1 to Galvis.
Nowhere to put him, so it's tough for a young hitter facing a guy like Johnson to be patient, but you never know.
He fouls it away. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
It was a strike.
Talking to Freddie today just about his experience so far. I said, your defense has been outstanding. I said, you look so comfortable out there. He said, that's what I'm trying to do, is just be comfortable. And I think he feels like the hitting will come as he plays more games.
Well, Johnson wanted that and didn't get it. Good eye by Freddie. Well, like we were talking about earlier, everybody's facing it for the first time.
Right.
It's hard. It's hard enough up here after you've seen a guy a few times.
Right. And although Pittsburgh, he may have seen some of those pitchers in spring training.
Right.
Some of the other teams, no.
And they're totally different pitchers in spring training than they are right now, because they're turning it up a notch now.
With a chance. He's had better swings. It's 2-2.
Well, he threw him something off speed there, it looked like. Changeup, huh? Started him with a changeup and just threw a 2-1 changeup. Boy, that's a different Josh Johnson. Ryan Howard. I can't wait to see him out there.
Stays alive, slaps it foul.
Tough. Guy throws you a 2-1 changeup, then a 94 fastball. That's about what you're going to do with it, too. What he just did, spoil it.
This is a 37 pitches in the inning.
Good job by the Phillies. It's the first time this year they've really made a pitcher work hard like this in an inning.
And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Galvis. Line drive down the right field line, a base hit. Pencil score. Here comes Victorino. Ruiz will be held up at third. It's a 2-run double for Freddie Galvis. And the Phillies lead it 5-1. Well, all that positive reinforcement and rubbing from Jimmy Rollins, well, it paid off.
And he got a Freddie chant. Listen to what that.
Wow. Awesome. Sounds awesome.
I think it was a fastball. It looked like it was in a little bit. Nice play there by Stanton to prevent that from 3-run score.
Well, and Galvis going to third easily. Well, here's Halladay. He started this rally with a ground ball to first.
So they're going to be going back over that replay over and over and over at second base. That ever set up this inning.
Sure did.
But hey, sometimes you get a call, sometimes you don't. They got one.
Another foul. It's 0-2.
Yeah, it's a fastball. Yeah. I hope Josh Johnson didn't see that. But he threw a fastball and he got it into him and it was down a little bit and he can handle the ball down.
Opposite way, Halladay rolls it toward Infante. Look at him hustling up the first baseline. The inning is over. The Phillies tack on 5 here in the third. Josh Johnson, he threw a boatload of pitches, and guess what? He gave up a boatload of hits. That's the first one. There's the second one. Jimmy Rollins the opposite way. That scored the first run. Then Pence through the hole. Rollins is able to post home with the second run in that at-bat. And then Galvis with a 2-run double, and the Phils up by 4. home. Just go to WBMasonAtHome.com to find branded products you want at low prices you'll love. Who but WB Mason at home. Now we go to the fourth. Phillies up 5-1, and Gabby Sanchez takes strike one. Sanchez, Infante, John Buck. Good changeup. It's 0-2.
Now that's the kind of lead you like to see Doc with. Actually, any of the pitchers, for that matter.
I believe they're changing Victorino's ball to a base hit. They had originally charged an error to Mike Stanton.
Yeah, well, just the way that he left his feet, I thought it should have been a hit.
All right, now that's 8 hits then against Josh Johnson. 18 in his first 2 games this year, including the one by Victorino.
Yeah, well, his velocity isn't normally it's in the high 90s, but he just hasn't gotten there. And more importantly, he hasn't gotten his control, really. Even in spring training, walked quite a few batters and just didn't have the fastball that he needs so that he can pitch his off-speed pitches.
Here's the 2-2 to Sanchez. Ground ball back to the box. Doc is there. One man down. Well, I think it's a good change on the part of the official score. Now, you played the game professionally. You were an outfielder. You leave your feet. Sometimes you think automatically that's a hit, right?
Well, I mean, you do, but with the wind blowing the way that it is, I mean, it is cold. He gave it a good effort. Here at home, I want that hit all the way for sure, and that RBI.
No. I'm looking at it objectively, Sarge.
I am looking at it objectively. I mean, you got to have home cooking.
All right.
Okay, but more so, the ball was hit hard. It was on the line, and I, for one, thought might have even got in the lights there a little bit, because obviously he didn't see it clearly.
Yeah, well, I think it's good scoring to switch it to a base hit for Victorino, and it gives the Phillies 8 hits. It changes a little of the inning for Josh Johnson. But after that kind of an inning, he probably doesn't even care about stuff like that.
Well, he's coming in there, and really, again, for me, didn't even have to dive for that. You know, and then take a look at the way that he actually turned his glove. And again, those lights being there, it almost appeared again like he didn't see the ball.
Wow, this has been a helpful last 2 at-bats for the Marlins. It turns out to be a 7-pitch inning for Doc. 1, 2, 3 go the Fish. We go to the bottom of the 4th, and the Phillies on top 5-1. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Acura. Acura Advance by Xfinity, only from Comcast, the official HD triple play provider of the Phillies. And by Nissan. Get to a Nissan dealer for great deals on innovation you can count on. Innovation for all. Well, last of the fourth. Juan Pierre will lead it off. Pierre takes a strike from Josh Johnson. Pierre singled his last time up. That was in the third, and then stole second. Replay showed that he may have been out before he hit the bag, but they called him safe, and that really helped the inning along.
Well, you know, again, too, though, the Fighting Fields, they're used to that over the years. When they were able to have a mistake done, they were able to kick that door right in, and that's what you want to see. Just a lot more aggressiveness on the bases, and they have been doing that. And Juan, he knows his job isn't done until he crosses home plate. But very aggressive running those bases, and you need to. You put pressure on the opposition by doing that.
1-2 the count to Pierre. Ground ball to second. Infante will take care of Juan. That'll bring Placido Polanco to the plate. Well, Sarge, as we break it down, first 4 games, 8 runs. Easy math, 2 runs per game. Tonight, 5 runs.
And off of a pretty tough pitcher, too. At least a pitcher that has a reputation. And these are the kind of guys that usually give Philly hitters a little bit of trouble because of that breaking ball that he's able to get over first pitch. They've done a great job here tonight. Discipline there at the plate and swinging at good pitches.
Well, and just making contact, too. Making good contact. Now, nothing's been out of the yard yet, but they've run the bases well, and they've been able to take advantage, as you said, of misplays, but just really making good contact.
Yeah, well, this is the type of team that they have, though. I mean, you're not going to try and overswing. They got guys that will probably hit more for an average as opposed to hitting that ball out of the ballpark. Therefore, you want to be on the line and more so on the ground as opposed hitting fly balls.
Swing and a miss, and Polanco is a strikeout victim, the first of the night for Josh Johnson. With 2 outs, Jimmy Rollins the hitter. On Monday, May 14th, will the Phillies take on the Houston Astros? See, Chris Cashman is wearing the Teva Respiratory Asthma Awareness Night Liberty Bell cap that'll be given out to all fans that come to the ballpark. Tickets are available now by going to Phillies.com. Now, we talk about the radar here at Citizens Bank Park, and Chris Cashman has that radar gun. And he's trying to keep his head warm by wearing that Liberty Bell cap. You can smile, Chris. You're on TV. And Chris will register with the booth here at the stadium and let them know what the velocity of the pitch is, and he'll also tell them what kind of pitch it is.
But you can always tell what kind of pitch it is just because of the velocity. And there are times when accomplished hitters are able to pick up pitches from the way the glove is actually turned or the way that the pitcher actually throws the ball to home plate. Guys like Bonds, guys like Cabrera, those are guys that are able to pick it up, and you can tell because they're always hitting 300.
Well, Rollins is aboard. Here's Pence, who's 2 for 2. By the way, 9 hits now for the Phillies against Josh Johnson.
Well, no, it's got to make Greg Gross, the hitting coach, feel a lot better. Maybe he'll be able to have a good night's sleep and pull this game out.
How about 10 hits?
This is a rocket up the middle.
For the second straight start, Josh Johnson has allowed 10 hits in a game, which ties his career high.
Yeah, and that has a lot to do with the location, because when he gets that ball away or down and away like he normally does, a lot better success. So just not able to hit a spot. See where this pitch is, and boy, I tell you what, you better look out when that ball is hit up the middle. I mean, and again, that's an inside out kind of swing, but you like it because he's going through the ball.
Randy St. Clair takes a walk to the mound. This is probably to give the relief pitcher some time to warm up. Chad Godin is the reliever out in the bullpen. Journeyman right-hander. Budweiser, through the Walk-Off Hero program, will donate $5,000 to Folds of Honor for every Phillies walk-off win. Please join Budweiser and the Phillies in honoring those who keep our nation safe. Victorino has been on base twice tonight. Takes a changeup for a strike.
5 hits so far. David Wright, who is now on the shelf, I guess a little bit. He has 12 hits. Was off to a great start. Those are the kind of starts you like to get off to before you don't have to worry about the average dropping down as much.
Build yourself some equity.
That's right. And then you just have a lot more confidence. Now, you know you can take a few offers and don't have to worry about it.
David Wright is a fractured pinky finger. So he'll be out of the lineup for the Mets for a little while. 1-1 the count to Victorino. Slaps it the other way. Another base hit. Here comes Rollins. He'll coast home from second. It's 6-1 Phillies. That's 11 hits tonight against Josh Johnson.
Wow.
I have to admit, I'm surprised they've kept him out there.
Well, I know the Phillies hitters, they're glad that he's still out there. As that base hit goes right through the hole. A little easier for J-Ro to actually score on that ball. I don't think they're going to be leaving him out there much longer.
No, I think they're waiting to make sure that Godin is ready. John Buck was just told by Joey Core to go out to chat with Josh Johnson. 83 pitches for Johnson with 2 outs here in the 4th.
Yeah, and again, too, you're one of the main guys that you have on your team. Just don't want him to get beat up. Meaning, and managers know, and they don't have their good stuff, that they're going to go on and take them out. Usually the starter is pretty glad about that, especially when he's giving up hits the way that Josh Johnson is doing here tonight.
Well, that'll be it for Josh Johnson. He's given up 21 hits in his first 2 starts this year. The Phillies have 11 hits tonight. It's an AT&T call to the bullpen. Phillies on top 6-1. Chance to win a VIP experience for 2 this year at a MLB World Series game. Presented by Scott's, the official lawn care company of MLB. Oh, we have 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Phillies up 6-1. And they say goodbye to Josh Johnson. Johnson had great numbers here at Citizens Bank Park, and that ends here tonight.
I mean, he's always given the fighting Phil's fits. Such a hard thrower with a pretty good breaking ball.
Well, Chad Godin, who's new to the Marlins. Last year he pitched in 10 games in the majors. Was 1-1 with a 6.48 earned run average. The list of teams that Chad Gaudin has played for is long. Cubs, the Yankees, Padres, the A's. We'll face John Mayberry here with 2 outs and a runner and runners on first and second. A run in. Mayberry's 1 for 2. Take strike 1.
Well, it's good you have so many teams that if you're not wanted by one, at least someone obviously sees something in them.
He's not even left-handed.
If you got a pretty good arm, though, and especially with a little bit of experience, you got a good chance to make a major league club ball off the plate inside. And you notice too, though, Mayberry's been getting a steady diet of fastballs that are inside and off the plate. You know, early on he's had a good eye where he didn't swing at that pitch, but when you get conscious of that pitch, they start throwing you those little sliders in the dirt. Boy, I tell you, it can just be rough on you.
How do you get out of it?
Back to your basics. Staying back, hitting that ball up the middle. You know, I don't like to try and hit the ball to right field because you drag the bat when you're doing that. Hit that ball up the middle. You got to be hitting that ball squared. You're taking a look at the hitting coach, Greg Gross.
Swing and a miss, and the inning is over. So the Phillies settle for a run on the RBI single by Shane Victorino. They've sent Josh Johnson to the showers as we go to the 5th inning. Victorino goes back to center, and the Phillies lead it by 5. Weekend, but they'll also be back at Citizens Bank Park Monday, May 7th for a 3-game series. All 3 games are at 7:05. It includes Asian Pacific Celebration Tuesday the 8th. Go to Phillies.com. Tickets are going fast, Sarge. Check out what's coming up in the National League East, not only this weekend against the Mets, but also as the year moves on. Chad Gaudin will lead it off, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Gaudin on in relief of Josh Johnson. Just 1 for 32 in his career. Johnson went out throwing 83 pitches in tonight's ball game. Said his Cardinals matched the career high in hits with 10 in the opener. And then Johnson gave up 11 here tonight. First time he's given up, as Rollins makes a sliding grab on that play by Gaudin, on that hit by Gaudin. Wow. First time he's given up double digits in hits in back-to-back games in his career.
That's unbelievable. And again, though, he's coming off of that soreness on the shoulder. He didn't have to have it operated on. He had an MRI on it, and it showed no structural damage. But last year, every time they tried to bring him back with that soreness, they start getting sore again. So, you know, without it getting operated on, they wanted to try and get it stronger, but it obviously is not right where he wants it to be.
Now Ruiz, who takes outside. It's 1-0. Ruiz is 0 for 2. You want to beat the Marlins, you keep this guy off the bases.
Oh, boy, I'm telling you. Just keep him right there in the dugout talking about hitting.
That's a foul ball.
Tell you, he is quick inside, and that's what really makes. He'll slap the ball the other way, but if he's looking for that ball inside, we've seen him before. He can pull the ball. Well, he's just not a slap hitter, leading the league in hitting.
And a called strike 3 right on the outside part of the plate. Only the second strikeout for Doc.
Yeah, not a lot of strikeouts, but that's good location there. Doc throwing that high fastball. Reyes thinking maybe it's a little too high. Take a look at it. Boy, I tell you, not a bad pitch. He can't believe it. He still can't believe it. You know, nowadays, too, though, guys don't look back at the umpire or argue as much anymore.
It's Bonifacio. He'll take a strike. Doc is becoming a strike thrower, a strike throwing machine as this game's moved on.
See how deliberate the hitters have been, stepping out on Doc, not really trying to let him get into a rhythm. Doc likes to get it and throw it.
See his pitches by inning. The last 2 innings have been pretty efficient.
There's just no rhyme or reason. I mean, great pitchers, they talk about getting those guys in the first couple of innings, preferably the first inning. I mean, Koufax was the same way. Usually didn't get those guys then. You just didn't get them. Woo.
That was awfully close.
Got to have an eagle eye to take this particular pitch. But with the movement, which makes Doc so difficult to hit.
And a called strike 3. Talk about movement. That cutter started on the outside part of the plate, cut back over the heart of the plate, and he gets Bonifacio looking. 3 strikeouts overall for Doc, and he's dealing right now because he's working with a 5-run lead. City by storm, and it's now the #1 comedy in Philly. Check out Sheldon, Leonard, Penny, and Raj, and the rest of the gang in the award-winning comedy, The Big Bang Theory, at its new time, weeknights at 7 and 7:30. on PHL 17. Whole half of the fifth inning. It's 6-1 Phillies. Carlos Ruiz, Freddie Galvis, Roy Halladay against Chad Godin. Carlos takes low. It's 1-0. Does one game change the thoughts of the offense? Does one game?
No. Well, it can't. No, and you can't look at it like that either. I mean, just like the other few games early on, you know, doesn't really count or give you a measure of how the guys are going to do during the season. It's a long race. You know, you got to, I mean, stick with them. But again, quality at bats will get you hits.
Sanchez and Buck will give it a look. It's out of play, and it's 2-1 to Ruiz.
I mean, basically, I mean, the key to hitting is getting yourself a good pitch to hit. I mean, on this level, you know, the guys that separate themselves from the others, it's very simple. You know, they're driving the ball and they're seeing the ball better than the other guys. It's simple as that.
But it might erase some of the doubts if you're a player, if you can get hits like this and do it against Josh Johnson.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that should really give you momentum.
Ruiz slams it deep to left center field. Bonifacio on the run, and he misjudged it. It dropped between Bonifacio and Morrison, and Ruiz will pull into second with a double.
Yeah, just giving up on the ball is what you call that. Bonifacio, he has really good enough speed to be able to get back there, not knowing this stadium, not knowing exactly where the wall is. He just actually became a spectator. Now take a look as he goes toward the wall. This guy has good speed. Now watch how he just looks down there, and I can tell you he heard footsteps and just decided not to really go on and get the ball. Center fielder has to go and get the ball. Left center, right center. That's his ball.
Well, that'll leave the door open for the Phillies with nobody out. Galvis the hitter. Ready takes low. It's 1-0. Two-run doubles last time up. And it was a big one. All part of a 5-run inning. Slaps a foul, 1-1. Freddie Galvis picked up the two-run double earlier tonight. Yesterday, he picked up his first major league hit. Pretty exciting stuff, huh, Murph?
No doubt about it, T-Mac. And, you know, some people may be wondering what happens to that baseball of Freddie Galvis' first hit. And as it turns out, Shane Victorino actually scored on that play. So he told the home plate umpire, hey, I need that baseball. He got it, handed it over to Frank Kuppenbarger, the clubhouse director for the Philadelphia Phillies. He takes it in, he cleans it all up, and he marks it. First major league hit for Freddie Galvis, and he put it in Freddie's locker. I asked Freddie today where it was. He says, well, it's still in my locker, but pretty soon I'm bringing that home and I'm putting it up on a shelf in my house. He said, in a perfect spot, in a big place right there. That's what he told me. So, good stuff.
Well, it's kind of like Little League. When you hit your first home run, they mark it up nicely for you to make sure you commemorate it. Same thing here as Ruiz will draw the throw. I mean, it's pretty special. And for Freddie, he had been 0 for 13 before the hit. I mean, Sarge, you remember your first hit, don't you?
Oh, well, I thought I did, but evidently I didn't. I was saying it was Mr. Kirby. But you're right. He's going to remember that. But more so, he's going to remember Charlie letting him stay in there to be able to hit. That's showing a lot of confidence. That didn't surprise me, though, with Charlie, because Charlie was a hitter himself, and he knows what that means when you let a guy stay in there. You're going to give him confidence, and especially if he gets if he ends up getting a hit, in which he did.
Halladay is going to swing away. Well, Murph, here's my thought. Yesterday's hit was pretty special. Do you think he's going to ask for the ball for tonight's hit? I mean, that one, the place was rocking when he got the hit tonight.
You know, it was great because the crowd was cheering his name, Freddie, Freddie. And when he came back into the dugout, Pete Orr and Hunter Pence together in unison saying, Freddie, Freddie, chanting. So he got a big chuckle out of that. You know, obviously this clubhouse is a tight-knit one, and they've welcomed Freddie Galvis in. They know how important he is to this ball club, and he's been able to contribute over the last 2 games, which is important.
Well, that was a pretty sweet swing. It's 0-2 to Doc, and he is down on strikes for the second out. So 2 away. Go back to the top of the order. Shane Victorino, who took the baseball yesterday from home plate umpire. He Rollins, Ryan Howard, guys like that, they make it a tight-knit clubhouse.
Oh, no doubt. I mean, it's just really good to see, because when you're one of the players out there, you're not getting any hits. You really look out there, you think it's just too many players. You know, you think they have players everywhere. He hasn't been striking out. You know, he's been making contact, and that's a good thing. And he's going to learn. He's a young player, and he'll hit the ball harder and come up with even a better game plan than what he has now when he goes to the plate.
Ground ball to first. Sanchez is there. The race to beat Pierre, and he does. And the Phillies are retired here in the fifth. No runs, one hit. One man left in scoring position. We've played 5. The Phillies enjoying a 6-1 lead over the Marlins. Manual. Since his arrival before the 2005 season, the skipper's message from the start has come across loud and clear. One at bat, one inning, one game at a time. His troops have followed his lead to a world championship, 2 NL pennants, and a franchise best 5 straight division titles. Charlie's resume and leadership speak for themselves, and they're brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Now more than ever, we're here for you every step of the way. Well, Charlie Manuel has helped lead the Phillies to 5 consecutive division titles. Bobby Cox and Joe Torre are the only managers that have more than 5. Mike Hargrove, who Charlie knew very well, still knows very well, won 5 in a row with the Cleveland Indians. Bobby Cox, who was at the ballpark, I think, last week with Atlanta, down in Orlando.
Yep.
Pretty impressive what he was able to accomplish.
That's a lot of pennants. I mean, only 1 world championship, but the consistency to be there on a yearly basis is what it's all about.
Here's Hanley Ramirez to lead it off against Halladay, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. First 2 innings, a lot of pitches for Doc. 37 pitches in the first 2 innings. 43 in the last 3. It's not counting the 3s thrown in this inning.
He tries to establish that strike zone and see exactly where the umpire's calling different pitches, and then he'll go to work on it.
Line drive, base hit to right center field. That ball was a rocket. It's going to roll toward the scoreboard. Cut off by Victorino. And Ramirez is the first hit for the Marlins. He's the 3rd. And it's a leadoff double.
You can't hit a ball much harder than that.
Really can't.
Well, you can tell that he's getting ready to get hot and start hitting the ball the way that he should. And that's when right-handers are hitting the ball to right center. It's just a matter of time.
Grounders shortstop Rollins throws out Stanton. And Ramirez back to second. Well, the Phillies Baseball Academy is open for boys and girls ages 6 to 14. You get professional coaching, skill development from Phillies players, coaches, and Baseball Academy instructors. It includes an official Phillies Baseball Academy uniform, a trip to Citizens Bank Park. There are 17 different locations. Call 610-520-3400 or go to PhilliesCamps.com for more information. Strike one, Logan Morrison.
Not a productive out by Stanton. That's why you got to keep playing the game. Once you try and hit that ball the other way, but it's almost like a dead pull hitter, even though we've seen him hit some balls there to center field. You know, the time before, looking at him swing at sliders or balls away, almost the same kind of mechanical swing. If you move that ball middle in, you're asking for trouble.
One ball and 2 strikes the count. Ruiz out to the mound.
It's a big ball game here for the Fighting Phils. You know, you just don't want to go down 1-5, 1-6, 1-7. It just takes you too long to get back to 500, and you can't do anything until you get to 500, and then you start to kind of climb and make your move.
And they're a confident bunch. They've been around for a while. They've had a lot of success, but even the most confident folks, when you struggle, sometimes you lose that confidence.
Yeah, and I think how they're winning or losing ball games, and whether or not, you know, it's a thing where you say, well, man, it's just a matter of time before this offense is going to hit play.
It's a good job by Halladay to get it before it rolled foul. It is a fair ball. The out is recorded. The runner goes to third. 2 outs.
I was going to say, before that offense actually takes off, and it did tonight. Now, you want to get to that ball quick as you can. That's exactly what he does. You see the ball is inside. Well, Mayberry could have actually had it too, but that's a good athlete. Care how you record the out, as long as it's recorded.
Gabby Sanchez hitless at 2 at-bats. He grounded out twice. Once to second, once back to Halladay.
What a great pitch. It really is. I mean, I'd like to see that for guys throwing that pitch, especially guys that are on my team. Just a little wake-up call. Kind of keeps guys from leaning on the outside part of the plate when you get a pitch like that.
3-0 the count. That curveball a little high. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard in in Houston, the Braves and the Astros tied at 1, top of the 4th. Braves are threatening. Jason Hayward has a couple hits, RBI. Braves are feeling the same pain as the Phillies, 1-4. Chipper Jones homered in his return, and that helped them win their first game yesterday. Ground ball to shortstop. Rollins has time with Sanchez running, and Doc is through 6. That's the 95th pitch of the night, so we might see him again in the 7th. We'll wait and see what the decision is, but he and the Phils enjoying a 6-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th. by Citizens Bank. We're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. And by Chevrolet. See your local Chevy dealer or visit ChevyDealer.com. It's 6-1, Sarge, as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Taking a look at the in-game box score. A lot of hits up there.
Well, that's what you like. And you like that multiple hits. Hunter Pence leading the way there with that 3 for 3. More importantly, though, you see how hard Hunter has hit the ball. And then when you stay up the middle, good things are going to happen for you.
Chad Godin took over for Josh Johnson in the 4th. Placido Polanco rolls it right through the hole left side. His second hit of the night. So a leadoff single. No warm-up action in the bullpen. Doc has really been he's been tuned in tonight. He's thrown, ever since the second inning came to a close, he's thrown his game.
Well, he's got to stop to be able to do it. Then once the pitcher gets those runs, now he can really become aggressive in throwing the balls there to the opposition.
Rollins takes strike one.
Knowing then if you make a mistake or two with your runs that you have, it's just not as bad the other way, obviously.
It's a changeup from Godin. Jimmy was out in front, and it's 0-2. Rollins 2 for 3. He scored twice. He's got an RBI. First RBI of the year. You could say that about a handful of guys.
Yeah.
First RBI for Polanco tonight. First RBI for Rollins. First RBI for Victorino.
When you talk to Charlie, he says that just a matter of time. The guys are going to hit. The one thing, though, they're not going to do is they're not going to give you the power like you've seen maybe over the last 5 years. They have guys that can hit for average. They have guys that can score runs, and they're going to have to do that in order to compete this National League East. Don't think any one team is going to run away with it.
Well, they may not have Ryan Howard in the lineup to hit home runs consistently, but Hunter Pence will hit home runs. But Rollins and Victorino, these guys can, these are good gap hitters. I mean, these guys will hit home runs, but they'll also get doubles and triples by shooting it into the gap with some authority.
Yeah, more gaps though, however, than late in the ball game and giving you that long home run. And their home runs that they hit, you're a little bit, don't want to say surprised, but they have to have a certain pitch to be able to get the hit out of the ballpark. A guy like Hunter Pence, he can get jammed and still hit that ball out to left field.
Even 2-2. Nobody out. Polanco on first. Godin in for Josh Johnson, who went 3 2/3, allowed 11 hits and 6 runs. All 6 runs earned. Rollins lines it toward right. Stanton makes the catch. Kind of just floated out there.
Yeah, off the end of the bat a little bit. Jimmy hit that ball. He catches that ball solid. It'll be on the wall or out of the ballpark. Yeah, that's the kind of smile you want to see on J. Rowe's face. When you're seeing that, you know that they're winning, and he has himself a couple of hits. And there's this, he gets a chance to sleep at night. He's had some sleepless nights here the last few nights. And that's just the way it is when you're the hitting coach, wondering whether or not you can do something else or whatever to get the guys going. Can't go up and swing for them. You can only give them a game plan and hope that they're going to follow it. Finally gets a chance to maybe have a little dinner after the game instead of having an upset stomach. Those hitters will give you an upset stomach, you know.
Somehow I just can't see you having a sleepless night as a hitting coach.
Oh, yeah, I had some when I was in Milwaukee.
Really?
Trust me.
It's 2-1.
You know, you take it personal that when guys aren't getting hits. I mean, you know, and Gigi's the same way. Guys aren't getting hits. He takes it and wears that on the sleeve.
Popped him up. Infante at second base. Ooh. Yeah, there are 2 outs. So Polanco's still at first. I guess even if you did fall asleep, you wake up thinking about it, you just don't go back to sleep.
I just got to tell you, it's just not a good feeling. You know, you're losing ball games, guys aren't hitting, they're asking you why aren't they hitting.
Everybody else is asking you why they're not hitting.
Yeah. Then you have meetings, and once you get that vote of confidence, you know it's not going to be long then. Usually out of here.
Shane has 2 hits today. And it's 1 ball and no strikes to him.
Do feel too, and the weather gets a little bit warmer. These guys will really be hitting the ball the way that they should.
Well, this weekend, it's supposed to get nice this weekend.
You ought to see a few more hits. You know, if you can hit a guy like Josh Johnson, that should give you some momentum for the other games. He's a good pitcher, regardless of whether or not he had his best stuff or not. He had good enough stuff to be able to pitch.
2-0 the count to Victorino. Well, let's face it, the first couple of innings, I know the Phillies had base runners in the second, but he didn't look any different than what we were used to.
No. Well, not having that control, though. I mean, he's had a little bit better control than what we've seen.
Grounds it to second. Infante waits on it, and the Phillies leave one over at first. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left. Godin is a pickup for Josh Johnson. We go to the 7th. The Phillies up by 5. Well, McDonald's opening night, the Phillies have laid out a beautiful red carpet for their offense. They have 6 runs on 13 hits.
They've done a lot. They've done a lot with those hits because 12 of them were singles.
Yeah.
The biggest hit was a double by Freddie Galvis, and that's the only extra base hit they had tonight.
Well, and to their credit, even the singles, they've been able to stretch it to an extra base because of throws. Their base running's been good.
Ran the bases tremendous tonight when they were scoring those runs.
2-1 the count to Infante on a pretty close pitch. Halladay is zeroing in on 100 pitches for the night. He threw 92 in his first outing against the Pirates. He's got bullpen action. Michael Stutz is warming in the pen. Ground ball to third. Easy play for Polanco.
Yeah, this will be it for him, you would think. And if he gets into trouble in this inning, his pitch count gets a little bit higher, then they'll shut him down and bring in Michael Stutz. Here's our game summary. You see the Phillies with that crooked number in the 3rd inning. That was sweet to watch. Giancarlo Stanton has a couple hits tonight. Josh Johnson, Phillies got to him tonight. And, you know, call at second base, some shoddy outfield play. And they also hit him around. Look at all those hits tonight by Polanco, Rollins, Pence, Victorino, all RBI hits. And Roy Halladay, they had a shot at him in the 1st inning. And since then, Well,
there's Stutz throwing in the pen. John Buck is the hitter. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Buck. There's 100 pitches now for Halladay. In fact, that was number 101, that last one.
Yeah, he threw a lot of pitches early in this game. And then after they got him some runs, then he started to get them out pretty quick.
Two and two. See 103. Ground ball to third again. Right at Polanco. Back-to-back plays and show off his arm on that one. 2 outs.
A lot of ground balls tonight too, which is really a good sign from Roy Halladay. He has so much. Most of his stuff goes down anyway, and hard down. So as a result, they're hitting the top of the ball a lot tonight, and the infielders are busy.
That'll bring Chris Coghlan to the plate. 11 outs have been recorded. 11 of the 20 with ground balls.
Yeah, well, there you go.
3 strikeouts, and there are a couple of fly balls that are kind of like bloops.
As I said, in the 1st inning, they had that shot at him. They loaded him up with 2 outs and didn't get anything.
Chris Coghlan, the pinch hitter, takes up high.
Next inning, they manufactured a run, and since then, forget about it. And it's so true year after year. Nothing changes in the sport about the great ones. Get them early, or a lot of times you will not.
Two and two the count. Halladay, if this is it, would stand to be the winner if the Phillies can hang on. And it would be his 190th career victory. Crowd starting to get on their feet a little bit. Here's the 2-2. Time is called.
He'd be 21-3 against the East since he's been with the Phillies.
Impressive. On the hands toward shallow center. Galvis is out. He's there. And Roy Halladay pitches a 1-2-3 7th inning. Remarkable turnaround after the first 2 innings. He's just firing strikes. He's through 7. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park. Up the fans trivia quiz answer. Wills, here we go. Name the player besides Babe Ruth and Barry Bonds with 600 or more home runs and a career on-base percentage of 400 or higher.
I did, I couldn't remember the question. I was going to say Babe Ruth.
That would have been wrong.
And I thought, I got it. I said, that's going to surprise you that Babe Ruth would have that kind of on-base. And it would have surprised me, too.
Wills.
Well, give me a hint.
It's not Babe Ruth.
Darn, I thought it was Babe Ruth.
But like
it is
Babe
Ruth.
But like Babe Ruth, he's a left-handed hitter. And you could see his jersey still. All right, let's give you a hint. We'll give you a visual hint, Wheels. Big Jim.
That's right, he walked a lot, too. Jim, tell me, huh? That's great.
600th home run that night. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge.
I was trying to think of those guys who may have walked a lot. And Jim told me
walked a lot.
He does, yeah.
Or he has walked a lot.
Yeah.
We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Ryan Webb is the new pitcher for the Marlins. John Mayberry is the hitter. Phillies are enjoying a 6-1 lead. Webb just one inning so far, or one appearance so far. Chad Godin wound up going 2 1/3 in relief, allowed 2 hits.
He did a good job for them. He sucked up some innings for the Marlins tonight, got them deeper into the game. Here's Chad Qualls. It's great to see him throwing again. His role is supposed to be the 8th inning, and they're going to put him in the game tonight in the 8th inning.
Hasn't pitched since Saturday.
Right. Well, he's the guy that on Sunday, really thinking he could have been able to pitch that 8th inning, may have had a different outcome, but he wasn't. Later found out he had a bad heel.
Rich Doobie told me today that he thought he'd be perfectly fine. Then he threw, if you remember, 2 days ago in the pen late in the game. He was okay. There's Doobs.
Well, they want to find out. And they get him into a game where, he has some wiggle room, too.
1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Outside 2-2. Asked Rich today what he did on his off day yesterday, Wheels, because we always try to keep in tune with what our pitching coach is doing. Went and saw his son pitch.
Nice.
In Trenton. He's pitching for the Trenton Thunder now.
AA
affiliate of the Yankees.
I saw him in the transactions the other day. Michael Doobie. I met Doob's mother the other day in Pittsburgh.
A little low. It's 3-2.
She was so pleasant.
And you wondered.
And I said to her, I said, "You're so nice and sweet and pleasant. What happened to that son of yours?" She started laughing. Like, she just shook her head. Said, "I don't know." He's giving me that evil eye.
Moms don't like when you make fun of their kids, though.
Well, she was fine with it. She watches a lot of the games. She says, "I know you.
You're that guy they buzz all the time."
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, this is Mom was sitting outside the hotel with son the other night. I walked in and had a nice chat.
Rich actually could have watched Michael pitch again today because there was a 10:35 game this morning. 3-2 the count to Mayberry.
It was something important if he didn't play golf on his off day.
A little windy yesterday, though, Wheels.
Tell me about it. Good day to work the ball.
Did you play golf yesterday?
Oh, yeah. It was fun. Challenging.
I had some high school baseball to catch up on.
Well, that's you're a good father.
3 balls, 2 strikes the count to Mayberry. Over to third, Ramirez. It's a tough hop. He never came up where he wanted it to. Throws low to first. Sanchez digs it out. 1 away. Well, Doc Halladay is the best in the game right now, and he showed it again tonight.
Yeah, he started off the game and it kind of looked like it was a little bit flat. He made a couple pitches in the strike zone. They got hurt on. But then all of a sudden, Roy Halladay really started dealing. He had a real good changeup. He had a good curveball early, and then he looked like he got his cutter under control and just dominated. That guy is really something.
Now Carlos Ruiz.
Aren't we lucky to get to watch him?
We are.
I'm telling you.
Extremely lucky.
You know, I was so lucky to watch Steve Carlton pitch so many games in person. And now watching Roy Halladay, you get that same feeling. You're just watching a greatness out there.
And there may be a time when he joins those greats in a number of different ways. As Ruiz lines one to deep left field, going back, Morrison, gone! Carlos Ruiz, his first homer of the year. 7-1 Phillies.
Well, he picked a little shorter part of the park that time. Last time up, it looked like he was going to hit a home run. And he hit it way out there to the 387. It got knocked down by the wind. This time he pulls a breaking ball. Carlos Ruiz, the fans love him. And what's not to like about Chooch?
Well, speaking of pretty good shots, here's our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. You just saw it.
It's a hanging breaking ball, and he hits a line drive and into the first row. That's the way the Marlins were hitting him in the first game here.
Well, tonight's Cold Hard Blast is brought to you by Frost Fruit Coors Light. By the way, that home run for Carlos made a winner out of Francine Dronick. She won $200 courtesy of Ruiz and a McDonald's home run jackpot.
Speaking of Jim Thome,
he's on deck. Chance for Freddie Galvis ringing through the ballpark. Back toward the middle. Reyes is there. He had him shaded that way. And he throws him out. It also helped that it hit the mound.
Right. I think that's a hit if it doesn't hit the mound. He hit that hard.
2 outs. And here comes Big Jim.
Here's a look at it. Freddie hits his ball right on the nose. Watch it hit the mound. Then it takes a big hop, slows it up. Look at he throw. Reyes is amazing.
Well, officially, Jim Thome has made his return to Philadelphia at Citizens Bank Park. He did it during the on-deck series. Gets a chance to bat here. 0 for 4 so far. Has made 1 start. And he takes inside. It's 1-0. They have the overshift on for him, which moves Infante into shallow right. Ski cap on and all. Reyes over to the right side. He is the kind of guy you want to make sure you take a photo of when he's up there, right?
Yep.
I mean, this is, folks, this is a Hall of Famer.
Amen.
In the presence. You're in the presence of a Hall of Famer.
You know, we're talking about Roy Halladay, and Roy Halladay is going to be in the Hall of Fame someday, you would think. And you have to say you think with Roy Halladay because his career is far from over.
Sure.
This guy got to be a first ballot Hall of Fame.
I would think so. See if he gets the green light. He's taken all the way. 3-1.
7-1 lead. You know, you can't give green lights.
That's true. I just wanted to see it.
I do too, but you can't do that. Next thing you know, you get somebody hit.
That's true. There's a liner toward right center field. Stanton is there. Ooh. The wind may have knocked it down a little bit on him. He makes the catch. Thome's retired. So the inning comes to a close. The Phillies tack on 1 more with a home run from Carlos Ruiz. On to the 8th. Phil's up 7-1, and Jack Paul's coming in. 7 runs on 14 hits tonight for the Phils against the Miami Marlins. And these lucky fans are tonight's Citizen 7. Not only have they watched the Phillies offense come to life, but they'll also receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. Hopefully there's something warm in those gift bags tonight. Chad Qualls, the new pitcher for the Phillies, on for Roy Halladay, who went 7 tonight, allowed 5 hits and a run. Qualls has pitched in 1 ball game. That was on Saturday against the Pirates, and it was before that outing that he hurt his heel. He doesn't know how. They don't know how. Just started having some pain in his heel. He went out and pitched. The next day, though, he wasn't really available.
And he pitched really well in that game before. Sinker was heavy. It was 92, 93. Well, that's his best pitch, and he'll also throw slider.
And Jose Reyes leads it off and takes a strike. By the way, Doc finishes with 3 strikeouts and 1 walk in 7 innings.
And a lot of weak outs.
Fly ball down the left field line. Pierre is over. Does he have room? He does. It's in fair territory. And he makes the catch for the first out.
Look it up like, man, that was an adventure.
What a way for Bonifacio. He's 1 for 3. By the way, speaking of back into the bullpen, Jose Contreras had a couple of good outings for the Phillies. Now, whether he comes back in the near future remains to be seen. He's got to work in back-to-back games and show that he's okay after working in back-to-back games. At least that's their hope. As the first pitch is taken inside.
Be a nice bullpen piece to have, a healthy Jose Contreras.
Big key tonight is the Phillies have kept Reyes and Bonifacio in check. They're combined 1 for 7.
Yeah, good point. You keep them off the bases, and you have a heck of a better chance of beating this team.
Think about last night. 2 of those guys, or 2 days ago, I should say. 2 of those guys combined for 5 hits, 2 runs, 2 stolen bases.
There you go. Yeah, the only hit they got tonight was that little bleeder. Bonifacio hit down the first baseline.
Late on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 2-2.
Oh, really has some serious sink to it. See, he comes out of that little 3-quarter. And whoa. Remember, you know, when he was on and, you know, against the Phillies, they saw him so many times. He was tough.
Two-seamer missed inside. 95.
It's heavy. We're just throwing sinker after sinker. There's another one.
Looper to left, or I should say a soft liner to left, caught by Pierre. It wasn't hit particularly hard. Well, it's time for our Coors Light Freeze Cam. You want to talk about outfield play? Victorino. They originally scored this in error, switched it to a hit. I think Mike Stanton may have lost it in the lights. Look at he turned his head there, Wheels, as we froze it.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they saw and decided to change it. Because if you lose the ball in the lights, although not all scorers.
Did I call him Mike again?
Change it when it's in the lights.
I think I did.
You did.
Giancarlo.
It's a lot easier.
Giancarlo, Michael, Cruz, Stanton. I think I got it in the right order. And then Ramirez takes a strike. Coors Light Freeze Cam brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Giancarlo is his given name. But he said it became so difficult when he was young for folks to pronounce it and say it the right way, and that he switched it to Michael.
Well, Mike's a lot easier. He'd be perfect. Just call him G.
Well, his dad calls him Mike. His friends call him Giancarlo, and his mom calls him Cruz. And I'm sure we'll call Mike and Giancarlo as the year moves on.
I haven't called him Mike yet, but it's a matter of time.
1 ball, 1 strike the count to Hanley Ramirez.
Sheedy's been doing a lot of that tonight with the Phillies pitcher Steve Reich. Right around the plate, Halladay and Qual.
Tomorrow the series will wrap up. The Phillies will send Cliff Lee to the mound, and they'll also get their first look as a National League player, Mark Burley. Start for the Miami Marlins. Over from the White Sox along with Ozzie Guillen and Joey Cora. One and two the count. Yeah, I should say Joe Bland. Did I say Cliff Lee?
Yeah.
Joe Bland. My
Joe
bad.
Bland, right. And Lee and
I'm just so used to Lee being after Halladay.
Right. And Lee and Hamels will pitch in that series against the Mets.
Yeah. Again with Vance Worley.
Right.
Shame on me for forgetting Joe.
He'll be all right with that. Nothing much bothers Joe Blanton.
There's Cliff and Cole.
Couple of lefties.
Breaking ball.
He hasn't thrown many breaking balls. It's like Sheeta didn't recognize the plane on that one. He's throwing all sinkers. He caught it low, and you can see Ruiz pulled it up, so he thought it was low too. He'll kill some worms, this guy.
Every time the Phillies retire, the opposing team 1-2-3. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, high-speed internet, and home phone. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 8th. Phillies up 7-1. Fly ball, left center field, pretty deep. Playable though for Victorino. It's going to stay in the yard by plenty. And the Marlins go down in order here in the top of the 8th. Qualls retires the 1-2-3. We played 7.5. It's the Phillies 7 and the Marlins 1. 7-1, Phillies on top, bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies are trying to win their second game of the year, proved to 2-3. The Mets are sitting atop the division with the Nationals at 4-2. The Arizona Diamondbacks, the only 4-0 team. Oh, excuse me, we're the only 4-0 team in the National League coming in. They lost today, 2-1. So that means that that's it. Detroit lost 2.
Yeah,
we had 2 undefeated teams coming in.
Yep, so nobody's going to run out and hide.
No 162.
Doesn't look like it.
Juan Pierre lead it off for the Phillies against Ryan Webb.
Tigers got beat with a 4 spot in the 9th today.
That's what threw me off. I think I had them written down as winning because they were winning.
And Verlander.
Right.
Those Rays, you know, they're a very good team, and they got 4 in the 9th to beat them.
Pierre slaps it foul. It's 1-1. Baltimore started 3-0. They've lost 2 in a row, and they're tied with the Yankees now in the 7th.
Yeah, they had a game 1 last night and then wound up losing in extra innings.
Pierre down the left field line. Morrison over, and he makes the catch. Well, speaking of nice catches, our Liberty Mutual defensive play of the game.
Yeah, in the first inning, Roy Halladay was struggling a little bit, but one of the things that helped him is this tremendous play here by Shane Victorino. Ran that ball down that Hanley Ramirez hit to deep center field for a big out.
Brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Responsibility. What's your policy? Here's Placido Polanco. Polanco's 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored in tonight's game. Little looper. Foul. Ooh, nice catch. That was a really good catch.
It was a one-handed grab.
Talk about sizing it up, making the play.
Phillies hit some balls hard tonight too, which is encouraging. You know, they really hadn't hit the ball all that hard, and tonight they've hit them hard. They hit them soft. They had a few breaks, and they got a great starting pitching performance by Roy Halladay.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Braves have opened it up. They lead the Astros 4-1. Jason Hayward has 2 hits and an RBI. David Ross had a 2-run base hit that broke the 1-1 tie. And a called strike 3. Polanco goes down looking. And 2 outs here in the 8th.
Brian Webb from the Clearwater area. His dad, Hank Webb, pitched for the New York Mets and has been involved in a lot of charitable activities in Clearwater for a long time. Ryan grew up in the area.
Picked him up from the San Diego Padres before last year.
Sinker slider.
Rollins takes a sinker.
He's a lot like Chad Qualls. A lot like Chad Qualls in the way he pitches with sinker slider.
Oh, and 1 the count to Rollins. Talked to Charlie yesterday. We were taping a segment of his show, and he discussed playing here at home and how important it is to have success. Phillies have certainly had that over the years while he's been the manager. And it's nice to get that first win here tonight on McDonald's opening night, because opening day didn't go all that well. But this game has gone exceptionally well.
Yeah, that 5 spot didn't hurt. That loosened everybody up. And Michael Stutz pitched the 9th inning for them.
2-1 to Rollins. Crowder to first. Comfortable hop for Sanchez. So we'll go to the 9th inning with the Phillies on top by 6. It should be Michael Stutz will try to finish things off and close the door. The Marlins in the 9th. Hey, Monday, later on in May, the Phillies will take on the Washington Nationals in a 3-game series. So the National League East matchups are in full swing. Not only the Marlins here, but also the Mets this weekend. You can check out all the games against the National League East by going to Phillies.com. Michael Stutz is going to try to finish off the first win for the Phils against the National League East and the Miami Marlins here in the 9th. 3rd game for Michael. He'll face Giancarlo Stanton to start it off. It's 2 balls and no strikes. You see the numbers for Michael so far this year. Helped out by Stanton. It's 2-1. It'll be Stanton, Morrison, and Sanchez. Not a bad pitch, 3-2. Polanco's been busy these last couple of innings. Stays down on that one. He's had 3 different plays hit right at him. And that's the first out. Oh, don't forget, after the ballgame, the post-game show, you can like PHL 17 on Facebook to interact. Then check out John Clark and Mike Missinelli as they break down tonight's game and answer your questions. That's next on the Phillies post-game show, live from Sugar House Casino. Here's Logan Morrison. Morrison 0 for 2. Swings the first pitch, and he lifts it foul. Velocity on that fastball at 94 from Stutz. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. Just a tad low. Swing to appeal, no swing. Fans are chanting "Let's go Flyers" in the stands. That's because the Flyers trailed the Penguins at the end of 2, 3-1, have tied it up at 3 in the 3rd period. Daniel Briere has 2 goals for the Flyers. Morrison fouls it back. It's 3-2. They've been putting the score of the Flyers game up on the scoreboard down the right field line here at Citizens Bank Park, where they have a lot of the minor league games listed. So that guy who's probably been following on his phone, taking a peek at that scoreboard. A lot of folks here pretty excited. To left center field, playable for Victorino.
Whoa. Boy, that got knocked down.
Watch it, yeah. The wind really took care of that one.
Man,
2 outs.
That thing looked like it was hit a lot further, and it really got knocked down.
You agree with you, Wheels? He just nodded yes. That gentleman with the Flyers jersey.
Yeah.
Just nodded yes. 2 outs, and here's Gabby Sanchez.
Be nice for Michael Stutz to have a nice, clean inning too. He's one of those guys they really need him.
Victorino on his horse. Well, here's the clean inning he was looking for. Victorino's under it, and the Phillies have won it by a final score of 7-1 on a night when the offense has woken up to the tune of 7 runs and 14 hits. Pretty good night all the way around. Jimmy Rollins and the rest of the Phillies offense are Chevrolet players of the game. Season high, of course, in hits and runs. Freddie Galvis had a big 2-run base hit that not only boosted his confidence, started a chant here at the ballpark for his name. Probably made him feel pretty good, too. And the Phillies have their first win at home here in 2012 as they have knocked off the Marlins 7-1. They've tied this 3-game series at 1 win apiece. So 7 runs on 14 hits, and then with all that, you kind of forget about the fact that Doc Halladay pitched exceptionally well.
Right, and the Phillies did hit Josh Johnson around. You know, they may have gotten a call at second base. It appeared they did, and then they just broke the game open. They got another break when a ball went off his foot and bounced into the outfield. But then they ran the bases really well in that inning. Took the extra base when they had to, and one of the guys that did those things tonight is down there with Greg Murphy and Jimmy Rollins. Take it away, Greg.
Yeah, that's right. A big part of the third inning, a big part of the offense today. You had 2 runs, the RBI. You scored 2 hits in the 2 runs. How important was it to you guys to put up an inning like you did in the third?
Well, it's always good to put up, big inning, especially when we got a pitch like Johnson on the mound and Roy for us. Whichever team stretches out that lead is going to be pretty hard for the other team to come back. So this time we were on the good side of things, able to put 5 runs across and then tack on a couple more.
I saw you before Freddie Galvis' first hit. You're kind of rubbing him up in the dugout, getting him ready. What was that all about?
I was just trying to loosen him up. He got a big hit the other night for us. A double left center. Today he got a double down the line. But, I just want to keep him loose, let him know, regardless, whether he's getting hits, or not right now. As long as he get hits, in big moments, he's doing his job. But, being a new guy, just make him feel accepted is really more so what I was going for. And I guess it worked. He came up with a big hit, but it was really all Freddie, not me.
He certainly did. Jimmy, thanks a lot. Guys, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Murph, thank you very much. Thanks to Jimmy Rollins, the Phillies offense, 7 runs on 14 hits. They win it tonight by a final score of 7-1. Roy Halladay is 2-0 so far in the young season.